Hi, it's Bill here. This is a position from a game I had once against international master Greg Hjorth. I was black. I could have played into this position, but I believed it was lost, so instead I chose a different move, which was worse. It looks bleak for black. However, because of the fact the last pawns left are rook's pawns, black is able to draw. There's a couple of important principles here. One is, when you have a rook's pawn and there are no knight's pawns, whether you're trying to win or draw, advance your pawns as far as possible. That will become a bit clearer later on. Okay, so we'll see what would happen here. So white can take the pawn. Now, the best move here for black is to take the opposition on the rank, and that keeps the white king blocking the pawn. But the king has only one move. Black goes back, keeping the opposition and keeping the white king stuck in front of the pawn. However, white can now move the pawn forward, which forces black to release the white king. So the king must go back. If he goes forward, the king can move to the important knight 7 square, and the pawn will then promote. So instead, the king goes back. White brings his king out. The king goes towards the pawn. White moves towards the A pawn. So black wants to win this pawn as quickly as possible. King takes the pawn. King moves towards the pawn. And it looks like the black king is a long way from the pawns on the queen side, but it turns out he can just get back in time. King rushes over. King heads towards the pawn. King rushes over. King heads towards the pawn. King goes back towards the side of the board. King takes the pawn. King goes back. King moves forward, controlling 3 squares in front of the pawn and unblocking the pawn. So black moves the king back, controlling the all-important knight 7 square, which is critical when a player is trying to queen his last rook's pawn. So now white can't make progress. If he pushes the pawn forward, the king will just simply get in front of the pawn, and it's a draw. If instead white moves his king in front of the pawn, black will move the king in opposition, and white cannot make progress. If he moves the king out, the king will get into the corner. If he moves the pawn forward, eventually black will stalemate the king. So the game is a draw. So notice in the original position, if these pawns had been one rank further up, white would have won. And if these pawns had been further up this way, it would have been easier for black to draw. Okay, so this is quite a good example of learning about rook's pawns in king and pawn endings. Thank you for watching.